Asked her if she'd stay a while. She said that's really not my style. I might be here for tonight, but baby I'll be gone in the morning light. Take me away to my favorite place where I don't have to grow up and stay this young forever. Baby, can you play this game? So are you too busy growing up to be something you don't wanna be? Anywhere except where you gotta be tonight. Oh, you don't wanna be anywhere except where you gotta be tonight.
Swift Lifestyle Pro Series is green from Daytona.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Araya SimSpeedShop Cup Series for race number 12. The final race of the regular season is in Concord, North Carolina. We have the America's Auto Auction regular season finale at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I'm Ernest Levy, your lead announcer, and joining me in the booth, as always, is executive producer Harold Darner and a new voice in Dylan Young. How's it going, guys?
Doing
wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you for having me back.
No, always good to welcome you back into the booth. We have 140 laps slated for us tonight at Charlotte for the America's Auto Auction regular season finale. And I mean, what a season it's been. We have a lot to talk about with drivers trying to secure spots in the playoffs, and then not only just the race to make the playoffs, but the race for the championship for the regular season points, because that is also very crucial. We have a mathematic of 5 drivers who are eligible for that, but they are still the regular season points. Those drivers trying to make it into the playoffs. If we can pull up the points battle really quick, and we'll look at who's currently locked in, who's in at the moment, and who's on the outside looking in. As you see there on the left side, those in green are locked in. Eric Wineland, Davey Hendricks, David Weishart, and Cameron Hearn are locked in with a win. You see the win sticker next to their name. But Danny Ware and Garrett Grant, they are also locked in, but they have yet to have a win on the season. They're locked in virtue of points. And then those in yellow, you see Garrett Heath, Blair Patterson, Jacob Bell, Ed Robertson, Delonte Ballard, and Tyler Hallman are in yellow. They're locked in. Well, they're currently in the playoffs at the moment. They're not officially locked in. And then those two in red, Christian DeBoer, 5 points back, and then Scott McClendon, 39 points back. Those are the two that are on the outside looking in. Now, McClendon is basically a win and in situation. If he doesn't win tonight, he won't make the playoffs. Christian DeBoer only 5 points back from Tyler Hallman. And then Delonte Ballard only has a 7-point cushion separating him from being in or being out of the playoffs. Meanwhile, Ed Robertson and Jacob Bell are 15 points to the good. And then Blair Patterson and Garrett Heath, they have a substantial margin where if they start the race tonight, they are automatically locked in. As you see there, the playoff pictures. We have Atlanta and Richmond in the round of 12. Then we go to Michigan and Kansas for the round of 8 before returning to Phoenix for the championship race, where we will crown a champion in the desert.
So, Hunter, there's every race this week has been a flip-flop in the playoff picture. So, wondering if we'll see the same thing every night. In the truck race, we saw a driver who was in on the last lap, and before the checker flag flew, was out looking in at the end of the day. So, 1 lap is all it took. Change it up.
Absolutely. Every lap matters. Every position matters even more now for those that are trying to lock themselves in the playoffs. And we saw last night in the Lodge Box Series, Michael Larch was able to get a win in a shocking fashion at Charlotte. And mentioned before the broadcast, he was like on the bottom of the barrel as points-wise in the playoffs, but that win pushed him all the way up to 8th in the playoff standings. And that's really crucial because each win secures a substantial bonus point, or a bonus points, if you will. And the one thing that holds more bonus points than a win is the regular season championship. Now, we don't have a specific graphic for that, we just have the regular points, but currently Davey Hendricks is your regular season points leader at 440 points coming into tonight's race. And then David Weishart's only 7 points back. Eric Weiland 15 back. And then the two in fourth and fifth, Garrett Grant and Danny Ware, 33 back and 34 back. It'll take a miracle for either one of those guys to get up there and secure a win that could potentially secure them the regular season championship. Now, what that does, it distributes extra points or bonus points, if you will. So if you're first, say Davey Hendrick holds on and wins the regular season championship, he gets 15 playoff points when they start the playoffs, and then 10 will go to second place. So David Weishart would wind up getting second place points. So that would be 8 to him. 8 to third, 10 to second, and then it goes one point down, one bonus point down, all the way down to 10th. So only the top 10 drivers when the playoff starts will have bonus points, with 10th place getting 1, 9th getting 2, etc., etc.
And if I'm not mistaken, 3 points for each win.
Yes, 3 points for each win, as we see the drivers who have a good bit of drivers who have won multiple races this year. Hendricks only has 1 win, but he's got 7 top 5s and 10 top 10s. That's kept him at the top of the point standings all year long. And then David Weishart going on a bit of a run here. As of late, he won at Nashville, had solid finishes in between those races, then won at Pocono, and then had solid finishes in between those at Talladega and at Watkins Glen. Then Eric Weiland went back-to-back early in the year, and he stayed consistent. Had a bit of a rough race, but managed to get a decent finish last week at the Glen. And he's only 15 back. He's got 7 top 5s and 8 top 10s on the year. And then Garrett Grant and Danny Ware, they can still mathematically get the regular season championship. It'll take a lot for that to happen, though. But both cars have been fast, or both drivers have been fast, but have yet to reach victory lane this year, with Garrett Grant having 5 top 5s and 9 top 10s with 0 wins, and then Danny Ware with 4 top 5s and 9 top 10s. Danny Ware, kind of an unsung or not known enough driver. He's been very consistent all year, just hasn't been there, but there's always that time to get hot at the right time, and I feel like might have to keep an eye on the 18 of Danny Ware.
I think with even with bonus points, they're out because there's only 22 drivers, so the difference in points is not enough points to make up to get the 30 points that they need. They need 33 and 34 respectively, and the most there's 1 point for each position, and there's only 22 cars on the racetrack.
Well, the wild scenario in that case, as needing a miracle in order to secure first, would be any of the top 3 or all the top 3 to accumulate a lot of incident points, because we've seen that happen, I think, a couple times throughout the year in different series where a lot of drivers get incident points, and then it becomes a point deduction or a race suspension.
Yep. Well, a penalty, barring. See, now we're throwing penalties into this thing. All right? I'm like barring penalties. Barring penalties, yeah. I think is between the top 3 guys, and even Wineland is going to need a little help with 15 points to make up, because he'd have to win the pole, go clean, lead the most laps. That gives him 3 extra bonus points over everybody else, but he still would need 12 positions in front of Weishart and Hendrick. So it's a lot, but it could happen.
It is a lot, but we've seen suspensions that have taken drivers out of playoff contention or playoff eligibility. We saw in the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series with Jordan Hurley, who's got 3 wins on the year in that series, and due to a race suspension, he was ineligible for the playoffs because he missed too many races during that time. So it's a long shot, but never say never in this case. And speaking of Garrett Grant, he's currently the fastest on our practice chart right now with the 30.035, and his teammate David Weishart, who, once again, looking for that regular season championship and those 15 playoff points. He's second on our chart, along with Garrett Heath in third, Delonte Ballard in fourth, and Brad Slaughter in fifth.
Yeah, the Grant was really good yesterday, showing long run speed. So look for Garrett Grant to have the speed. If he's got the speed to be, on a quick lap, he's able to save tires, and so he'll be there at the end. So With about 5 seconds left here, it looked like the checkered flag was out there for Mr. Slaughter in 81.
And the checkered flag is out for practice, so that will do it. Garrett Grant posting the fastest time. And then we get to go out and do a 2-lap qualifying session. That'll last about 10 minutes. And we see, looks like the number 16 of Joshua Kanata going out as we look at our weather presented by Lottie'sTravelWorld.com. We have mostly cloudy skies here in Concord, North Carolina. Air temp 77, track temp 79, humidity at 53%, and winds from the southwest at 8 miles an hour. But of course, that will change throughout the course of the race.
I happen to know that people in North Carolina wish those were the right temperatures.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Well,
wish there
little
was
too cold
zero
right now.
snow on the ground. Yeah.
A little too cold.
But the sim for we talked about the other day with Jake, the simulator for the northern tracks, or what they decide is the northern tracks, will not allow them to put a date in January. So the earliest date the sim would allow for North Carolina was April the 1st. So it's basically April the 1st on the racetrack in the simulator in the year 2022. And this is what they said they believe will be the weather. So
You mentioned, Jake, you just donated 10 bits. I don't know what that could mean.
so many bits become $1 is what I've been told. So I don't know.
Yep.
Well, no, none of that, but just the messaging in the bits. It's cryptic. 10, because remember, he donated 3 at the beginning of
Oh, yeah.
the Nashville race for David Weishart to
Yeah.
win.
10
And
was 10 for
his
yeah.
pick was David Weishart, and Weishart ended up winning. But 10, don't really see anyone with the number 10. So we'll leave that to our own judging. As you see on the top right, the
Could Jacob
name
Bell
will
be
appear.
in the 10th spot?
Only time will tell.
No, with the playoff pitcher.
Well,
I mean, it is possible, but you never
Let's-
know these
let's-
days. Or whoever starts in that 10th position.
Actually, he's in the
he
9th
is
position.
9th.
Yeah, I knew he was close to the 10th spot.
So as you see the time on the left, it will show where drivers are qualifying. And as we see Garrett Heath right now at the top of the chart. And for those that go all the way up to P1, you'll see them. You'll see their name flash on the top right of the screen, just below the one to go logo, as we see. Perfect example of. Thank you, Harold.
Sure, no problem. It's automatic, but I can throw it up every once in a while. All right, Zachary Taylor's coming out there in that 24 machine. Is that a Liberty 24? See, I have to.
Yep.
See, now I'm going to have to pick Zach Taylor to win tonight. That is my alma mater. I have a master's and a bachelor's degree from Liberty University. So we'll have to follow them. So, and Willie B is currently attending. That's why he races that paint scheme.
I feel like I should just get this out of the way. This is not Cincinnati Bengals head coach Zach Taylor. This is a completely different Zach Taylor. Just to clear up any confusion. We see him working his way off.
So now he's
turn
picking
wide
Garrett.
open.
He's picking Garrett Grant.
Yes. They just saw he donated 5 bits. So keep an eye on that 5 card tonight. He knows he could get a win and could get 3 bonus points with the win. Or any other driver in the field that's playoff eligible could get a win and then 3 extra bonus points on top of that. Could be the 52 of Tyler Hallman, who's currently got a 5-point cushion separating him from being in and out, and that
Not
is
like
not
that.
what you want to
Whoa,
see
yeah.
now.
Not like that.
So any driver that goes into grass or into the wall, that lap will not count. So we just saw the 52 of Tyler Hallman get up in the wall, coming out of 2, and that lap time will not count.
Jordan Martin's day yesterday was dodging traffic, and so hopefully his day is a little better today. Had a couple people lift to avoid stuff in front of him, and he ended up getting in a couple different cautions last night.
So I know we're about halfway through qualifying, but Dylan, just want to ask you, for qualifying purposes, where would be the best place to run at for lap 1? Because some tracks we see drivers run the middle or the bottom, or they run the top to get all the momentum, and then they run a completely different line in lap number 2. So where would be the best place to run at?
I would say probably for the most part, the middle. The middle's probably where you want to be. That low line, man, it's always been a treacherous spot. You hit that apron, you hit that blue-white line, it's no-go, man. You're going to lose a lot of momentum and everything. And that high line, man, the main thing about that area is mainly turn 4. You're going to see how 81 right there, if he run that high line right there, you come really close to hitting that wall. You got to be very, very careful coming out that corner. You'll lose the back bumper right there, and you'll just snap easily coming off that corner. So I would just run middle early on and see how it goes for the rest of the race.
All week we've seen 3 grooves here, actually. Guys that were just basically bottom feeding all the way around the track. Guys running the middle line, and we had a lot of drivers from the 1 Mine 2 design camp pretty much wall riding, like Hunter likes to say, the Kyle Larson line, where they basically can take a piece of paper and maybe get it between their car and the wall.
It looks like that lap time won't count for Brad Slaughter because he clipped that front apron or grass on the front stretch, or turf, if you will, because it's not real grass, it's artificial turf now, but he clipped it, and that's considered going off the track, and he'll get an incident point for that, and that will not count for a lap time. Now, this is a driver we do need to keep an eye on, Scott McClendon. He had 2 chances to win, although first one being at the Daytona Road Course was on old tires. And then last week at the Glen, made a dive bomb in the bus stop, and that didn't work out in his favor, and he ended up finishing outside of the top 10. And the win would go on to be Cameron Hearn. And there we see McClendon into the wall, inside and out. And don't think that lap will count. I don't think he has another lap to go off of either.
Yes, he does. He has one more shot.
Oh, he's got one more lap. Okay. But we've seen that in practice, but just before we went live, some drivers were getting a little too close to that outside wall in turn 2, and it would just fling their car to the inside wall like we just saw with Scott McClendon.
Garrett Grant puts up the fastest time now. Garrett's found something with these Cup cars.
We got the 2 Garretts on the front row for the moment. Garrett Grant and Garrett Heath, 1-2.
Cameron's
separated by a tenth.
Cameron's going to try to put a wedge in there.
Or sorry, that's 100th of a second, excuse me.
Yep.
But here's last week's winner, Cameron Hearn. He got his second win last week at the Glen. And he's looking to make a playoff push as he's starting to get hot at the right time, although he's moving really high and gets right into the barrels. Right down in there. Didn't know if he was going to slide it on the pit road or not, but
he does have another shot to get another lap in there, so we'll be all right.
And I just ran out of Reese's because now this card from Chris Seinfeld has made me hungry for Reese's. Looking around, got a little less than 2 minutes. Still got a good bit of drivers who have yet to put down a lap or have their lap times disallowed. Those being Bryce Senesac, Brad Slaughter. Oh, as soon as I say that, Senesac goes 11th quickest. So we see Seinfeld starting lap number 1. Brad Slaughter's lap, both of his laps did not count. Cameron Hearn, he crashed into the wall. And this lap from Seinfeld won't count either. Oh, and he's flipping in qualifying. Wow. So turn 2 is looking like it's going to be a tricky spot as we head into tonight, but man, oh man, Senesac goes 7th quickest on his second lap. But boy, that was identical to what Scott McClendon did just a few moments ago.
Cameron up to
Looks like Cameron Hearn up to 4th, yep, on his second lap. So Scott McClendon, who wrecked, has not put down a lap yet. Christian DeBoer has yet to put down a lap. Same with Ed Robertson and Jacob Bell.
Scott McClendon has a disqualified, so he's done for qualifying. Seidenfaden, DeBauer, Bell, and Slaughter still have the opportunity, but 30 seconds in which to put down a lap.
And it looks like Seinfeld will get his lap down, depending on how turn 2 goes. See, he's keeping that car on the bottom. Don't want to get it too close. That is going to be a corner we'll have to keep an eye on because it's been an issue in practice, and clearly it's an issue in qualifying also. And who knows what can happen during the race. Something like that happens, there could be a big wreck down the backstretch and could collect some playoff contenders in there. So you see Simon Fine working his way down the line. That 45 car. We wait to see where his lap time is. I don't think it counts.
Did not count based on, I guess he didn't have enough left. So we'll get to the gridding now.
Yep, so that'll do it for qualifying, and we'll have your starting lineup for tonight's regular season finale, the America's Auto Auction regular season finale at Charlotte. On the front row, we have a pair of Garretts. On the pole on the inside is Garrett Grant, and to his outside is Garrett Heath. So we look in row number 2, we have David Weishart starting in third, and alongside him, Cameron Hearn starting fourth. In the third row, we have Delonte Ballard starting fifth, and alongside him, Nate Trito starting sixth. Row 4, starting seventh, Joshua Kanata in the 16, going to start in the 7th spot, and alongside him, Bryce Senesac starting in 8th. And in row number 5, we'll have Davey Hendricks, your regular season points leader, starting 9th, and alongside him, Blair Patterson starting in 10th.
All right, inside of row 6, number 24 of Taylor. And outside him is Eric Wineland. Number 12, Danny Weir and Mr. Hallman are in row 7. Inside of row 8 is Weiserman. Outside him is Mr. Martin. And number 81 is Slaughter, is on the inside of 9. Outside him is Jake Bell in the 77. The inside of row 10 is Ed Robertson. And then Scott McClendon. And at number 29 would be on the outside of row 10 in the 20th spot.
Then in the last row, we have Chris Seinfeiden in the 45, starting 21st. And to his outside, Christian DeBoer in the 56, going to start 22nd. And that will complete your starting lineup. As we mentioned, got 140 laps slated for us here tonight. Looking like the fuel run is going to be anywhere from lap 35 to lap 40, but we could see drivers peak at lap 40 or go well above lap 40, maybe even pit closer to lap 45. Guys, who are you picking for tonight's race?
Well, I'm going to stick with Zachary Taylor and the number 24 Liberty University.
I feel like I'm going to go for an upset pick here. I think we're going to see some history. Scott McLennan, I think he's going to probably pull the upset and a half. He's going to go for the winning in move there. We'll see if he gets the job done.
Scott McLennan going to have to come from deep in the field, starting 20th. Gosh, I'm looking here. I'm going to go with Nate Trito in the 1. Going to go with Nate Trito. He's won at the Daytona Road Course, and then he's won at Darlington. I feel like he gets his 3rd win here. So we'll wait for the green flag. The field behind the pace car being led by Garrett Grant and Garrett Heath. And as soon as that pace car pulls in, they can go whenever they want. There's a hard left turn, and Garrett Grant leads the field to the green flag, the regular season finale here at Charlotte. So the outside did not get a good jump. See the field racing through turns 1 and 2 now. And as they come across the stripe, Garrett Grant's going to lead lap number 1. Great camera work, Harold. I mean, absolutely amazing camera angles there. Really close, and you hear the speeds of the cars. We look back at a battle for 4th brewing. Still got to watch out for that wall in turn 2 with some drivers getting up high. Now we see the 3 of Weishart looking low on his teammate. But don't look now. Don't be side by side for too long. Here comes Cameron Hearn in the 15, looking to make it a 3-car battle. Weishart leads that lap.
Oh, he thought about going to the high line for a minute to go 3 wide there, but he tucked back in line. That was a very close call right there.
And now he's looking on the outside of Weishart, who's going to drop back to 3rd. It looks like Hearn gets to run off the corner. Grant going to go down low to take any draft away possible. And we'll see this for the first handful of laps or so after an initial start or a restart. This close side-by-side racing, but as the run goes on, I believe we will see the pack start to spread out just a bit. As that battle for second still heating up with Weishart on the inside, and Delonte Ballard looking to secure his spot in the playoffs. Battling for third underneath the 15 of Hearn.
A lot of two wides running through the entire field. Throughout the week, we pretty much went single file for the first few laps, and then only passing was when we got two wide. We've been pretty much two wide, about third on back so far tonight.
Yeah, very early on, but a really nice run of Delonte Ballard as he's looking like he might make a move on second, but has yet to do so as we move further towards the back with Bryce Senesac, and then in the number 24 of Zachary Taylor. See a big old train of single file racing on the outside line.
Eric Wineland running that high line, high, wide, and handsome. There's look at that BRA 12.
As he passes Taylor for 8th, and he's might look to the outside of Trito there for the 7th spot.
Good run he had on that high line there, but just he's trying to use whatever he can on that car to push it. I think he's going to make it work coming off the 2 as long as he doesn't hit the wall there. But they're still side by side for position.
Well, Davey Hendricks is that points leader that he's looking to get in front of. They're going 3 wide now.
Yeah, but he's really looking to get in front of David Weishart because he's in front of both of those guys. And Weishart was the closest back to Davey Hendricks with a 7-point cushion. So Weiland was 15 behind heading into tonight. So he's got to do whatever he can to try and snatch that regular season championship up, because remember, it's 15 bonus points going into the playoffs. As we move back up here, we're keeping an eye on the 21 of Delonte Ballard. He only had a 7-point cushion heading into the race tonight. Picked up a good bit of picked up a spot or two after the Glen. Tyler Hallman lost 2 spots after his run at Watkins Glen, and that left him at a 5-point cushion. The good from Christian DeBoer. He's currently 21st, and Tyler Hallman is scored 17th at the moment.
Dom DeLeo is talking about the 24 having a playoff game to prepare for on Saturday. Not sure if that's high school or college, but maybe Dom will give us some more news on that.
I believe he will. As we look at the battle for third now, Cameron Hearn to the inside of Delonte Ballard. He'll take that spot away. Right behind those two, closely in tail, is the 23 of Garrett Heath. And now we move a little further towards the back with Blair Patterson side by side on the racetrack with Joshua Canada in the 16, who's going to lose a spot also to Brad Slaughter, excuse me.
Yeah, I got a couple of battles really brewing over here in the middle of the pack towards the rear, but nowhere towards the front. But we're getting a lot of good action around here, man. They've been racing like really, really good out there. A lot of competitiveness, a lot of good, clean passing. A good way to start off a race right there if you're in that part of the field.
Jordan Martin, Joshua Canada almost collided coming out of turn 4, and that was right in front of the 52 of Tyler Hallman. So not what the 52 wants to see. And Christian DeBoer is laying off quite a bit from this pack. So we continue to see the 12 of Eric Weiland work his way through the field. They're trying to stay in front of the 09 of Bryce Senesac for the 9th spot.
Wonder if Christian DeBoer is trying a gamble with fuel.
That could very well be the case.
Because he's on the outside looking in, right?
Yeah, he is 5 points on the outside looking in. Very early to look at it for fuel, but it wouldn't surprise me if this race went caution-free, because Monday night, the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series went caution-free. I believe we had a couple of yellows in the Northern Capital Truck Series on Tuesday night, and then last night for the Launchbox Series, there wasn't a good enough run to determine how much fuel you could run up to. So, bit of a caution fest last night, but so far, so good early on here at Charlotte.
Dom DeLeo basically using the same thing you were talking about, that not being the Bengals coach.
There we go. I knew pick up on it.
I was like, okay. As I thought, maybe you knew him in real life and he had something else going on. But hey, we always talk to our people inside the chats. Dom's checking us out. So he's cheering on at number 22 of Delonte Ballard with the 54 Hendricks there, and Zachary Taylor getting into the picture.
It's actually 21 of Delonte Ballard, but go on.
Yeah, for the most part, you're seeing a lot of drivers trying to use the inside line to make the pass instead of using the outside. We've seen a couple times, like the 12 about a few laps ago, try the high line and almost made it work. But for the most part, you're seeing here, inside line's been the preferred line that a lot of drivers been using. But seeing the 54 right there trying to get a pass on the 24 on the inside line, had to check up a tiny bit there. And the 24 just got enough of a run on that high line just to overcome that 54's good run right there. And that 54, you don't want to give up on that fight right there for position.
No, he's currently he was the points leader heading into tonight's race, so he's got to hold on to whatever he can because David Weishart is just in front of him. Well, I'd say just in front of him on the racetrack. He had a 7-point cushion from Weishart heading into tonight.
Even. Right now they're even. David's up to second, and David Hendricks is back to ninth.
Well, Weishart has a lap led, so that's a bonus point for each lap. It's a bonus point for first lap you lead. Shouldn't say each lap because then we'd have a bunch of bonus points. But 54 currently in a hole, although it's very early on, and as we mentioned earlier on, we would see some separation start between the field, and it looks like the top 4 is separated from the pack, and now it looks like Nate Trito trying to drive away from the bow for 6 behind him, which you have a gaggle of cars from about 6 on back to, I'd say, maybe 17th or 18th on the track. They're all in this big pack here. As we still have side-by-side action between the 09 of Senesac and 81 of Slaughter. As now that's going to turn into the 18 and the 81. Moving back up front, it's still Garrett Grant leading with teammate David Weishart in second. Right behind him, Cameron Hearn in the 3rd spot. And just tailing just a margin away from the top 3 is Garrett Heath in the 23, currently 4th. And then you mentioned Nate Trito trying to drive away from that pack, currently holding the 5th spot.
That top 4 completely ran away from 5th on back, man. They're just not looking back at all, and they're just enjoying the drive right now.
Yeah, Delonte Ballard is slowly starting to fade through the pack as he's side by side for the 11th position. Now they're starting to get more spread out in front of that pack, or towards the front of that pack, as we see Delonte Ballard still on the bottom, trying to hold on. Got Joshua Kanata on the outside of him. This is the battle for the 12th spot. Just in front of them, you see the 18 of Danny Ware. Right behind the 09 of Bryce Senesac, currently 8th and 9th on the racetrack. I don't think we touched on this, but this is the 550 horsepower package, so there's only so much that you can do to kind of generate a run on the outside. It seems like the majority of this pack is running on the outside, although we will see them start to differ in the corner as we see the 18 of Ware underneath the 09 of Senesac. Trying to stay side by side, but what really hurts them is the run off the corners, as it looks like got a car in the wall back there. So 02 of Jordan Martin just clipping it just a bit. And right behind him was the 52 of Hallman, so got to keep an eye on that again, because if he gets involved in a wreck, he's basically out, and that would put the 56 of the board in. A lot of moving parts here to keep an eye on.
Yeah, for the most part, you're seeing a lot of double wide action there. No one's really trying to make an attempt to go 3 wide, which I don't blame them. This is still such an early portion of the race. Keep everything smooth and positive, and just don't try to be super aggressive early on. They know you got a long race to go. You got to keep yourself in a good rhythm, and you got pit stops coming up pretty soon as well too. So be ready. It's going to be a fun little show coming up.
Talk about several different strategies based on what I was seeing earlier. It looked like these guys would probably break this up into 4 pit stops, or 3 pit stops, 4 stints, and use up their tires in each section or in the mid-30s. But somebody could try to gamble and try to get all the way to 47, and they could do that. They can have an extra set sitting in the pit stop and have 1 less pit stop if we go green from start to finish.
So we should have mentioned earlier on, there are only 3 tire sets. And we're looking at a fuel run of possibly 35 to 40, but it could go well over 40 and maybe into the 45 to 47 lap range, as Harold just mentioned. So tires will be something we'll have to keep an eye out for, because you never know, there could be that late race yellow, and you could have a set of tires left to charge up, and who knows, maybe make your playoff push to make it into the playoffs.
Yeah, like we see right now, 20 laps on these tires. They've fallen off almost 2 seconds from their best times. So tires, big help here.
We see the field starting to separate more. Some of that pack has faded. Well, not faded, but some of the pack has moved on. There's a big gap between, looks like, Danny Ware and Joshua Kanata. Still some side-by-side action going on here. So Eric Weiland's in this back part of the track, or of the pack, excuse me. So we move up front now with the 54 of Davey Hendricks and the 09 of Bryce Senesac, with the 81 of Brad Slaughter. Battle for 7th, 8th, and 9th on the racetrack.
Yeah, really good battle going on right there just between all three of those drivers. And you see, ooh, got a little wobbly down low on the back straight right there. And sometimes you just got to be careful there coming into that area. Just a little bit of a bump there and just mess your car a little bit there. So, you know these drivers got to go really easy before heading into turn 3 there.
Yeah, what we just saw there is exactly why there's only so much that you can do when you're a car on your own trying to make it past us. We saw the 09 of Sensac try to side draft 81 of Brad Slaughter, and he got a little loose there coming off the corner. And not only that, but big help on the outside from Danny Ware gave him a momentum push to go past the Senesac machine. So just one of the... Oh, my thought just went away. I was going to say just one of those instances in where we'll see the draft and this horsepower package play into a big effect with passing. Kind of like how we race at the super speedway. If you're riding on the outside and you go to make your move down low and you got no one behind you, you just fall to the back. But except in this case, at 1.5 miles in Charlotte, it's a slower drop, if that makes any sense. Top 4 are still driving away. It looks like the one of Nate Trito is trying to catch up to this pack. He was one of the first to break away from that second pack in the back. So they're now starting to get more separated as we see Zachary Taylor's in the 6th position. Harold, that's your pick that we are keeping an eye on. And then right behind him, Delonte Ballard is now up to 7th on the racetrack. Or actually, well, my scoring is frozen. It's actually Davey Hendricks in the 7th spot. My apologies. Yep, there you see. And then Brad Slaughter in 8th, Danny Ware 9th, and Bryce Senesac 10th. Now it looks like we got a battle for the 6th spot. Hendricks down low with Taylor up high, and then Brad Slaughter right behind.
The tires are definitely falling off. 2 seconds from fastest to the current lap.
Absolutely, tire wear will be a factor also in the how long these drivers can go. Some might do 2 tires whenever they come down pit road. Looks like Slaughter trying to make it 3 wide. He'll just go to the outside. So move back to this 3rd pack, being led by Delonte Ballard. And then in the middle of that 3rd pack, you see the bright 52 of Tyler Hallman. As we see a car in the wall, that was Brian Wasserman. Hitting the wall, going down low. He keeps it straight, no caution. We saw that happen to a couple of drivers, including Tyler Hallman, in qualifying, and they just spun to the inside wall.
Good save, though, to say the least.
We haven't mentioned his name, but Chris Seinfein did the exact same thing, but flipped in his qualifying run, and he's currently 13th on the track. One thing we'll definitely have to keep an eye on is the 77 of Jacob Bell. He only had a 15-point cushion heading into tonight, and he's got a little bit of setup issues, and he's currently last on the racetrack.
Just trying to keep it on the lead lap.
There's a possibility that he might not make it into the playoffs as well.
He's there just right around, unfortunately.
Battle still going on between Hendricks and Taylor. Now Slaughter looking to the inside for the 7th spot. Right behind him, Bryce Senesac, looking like he's going to go low, then go
Ooh,
high, and a little
contact,
bit of
81.
contact there between Taylor and Slaughter going into the turn.
Yeah, they made just enough contact right there, but oh boy, starting to get a little messy out there.
As we mentioned, as the laps continue to go, the tire wear will start to go even more. Now it looks like Hendricks is trying to drive away from that pack, and the 24 of Taylor has fallen to the 9th spot.
He's going the wrong direction. I think him and the 54 made contact. My score is showing there's a 4-point incident between the two drivers a couple laps back. Lap 31.
Oh, a little strange. I don't know if it was just me. It looked like the 18 of Danny Ware might have clipped the wall, or he clipped someone. I don't know, but he's fallen a bit from that pack. As now it looks like Simonfine's starting to catch up.
Eric Wineland starting to develop a charge here late in this stint.
Yep, Eric Wineland moving up big time. He's passing 09 of Bryce Senesac. That's for the 8th spot.
Ooh, to the wall for that.
Very close. Very close there from 09 of Senesac and the 16 of Joshua Kanata for making contact.
Not much change up front. The top three still the same. Grant, Weishart, and Hearn.
Yeah, that top three have mainly stuck together throughout this whole race. And, you know, 4th place, he's starting to lose just a tiny bit of ground. Not a whole lot, but just enough to where he's not up within that main 3, though. So I guarantee when that pit stop is going to happen, they're going to have to really work on that car and really execute that strategy perfectly there.
And Garrett Heath looks like he's just outside of the draft from the front 3.
Yeah, his car is starting to fade as we see the longer run go on. We'll start to see, as I should have mentioned earlier on, we see the comers and the goers with who's got short run speed and who's got long run speed. And it looks like this top 3 has long run speed as they're still driving away from everyone.
Those 3 are absolutely fast out there. They're doing a heck of a job out there. And I'll tell you, it's just they continue to hit the marks perfectly in sync. And this really shows their experience here really has been coming to fruition here.
We're past about the area I was seeing if they're going to try to put this in quarters. But they could also do, longer well, they're not going to be able to make it thirds because that would be 47 laps. But I could see them going 40 and then that last run being smaller so you can do less fuel or maybe 2-tire stop or something different at the end.
Yep, so the top 3 are still the same as we're rolling through this 140-lap race. Just a little over 100 to go. Garrett Grant leading. David Wise starts 2nd. Cameron Hearn is 3rd. Garrett Heath holding on the 4th. Nate Trito in the 5th spot. Then in the back, we got a bit of battling between back part of this top 10, really, with Davey Hendricks 6th, Eric Wineland 7th, Brad Slaughter 8th, Bryce Senesac 9th, and Joshua Kanata holding on to the top 10 spot. So we see Simonfine there is up to 11th. This is 24 of Zachary Taylor. Looks like he's falling back to the 14th spot as we see Tyler Hallman on the outside of him looking for 13th. And might complete the pass here.
Yeah, so far that's been the most heavy battle out there, but they're just playing a lot of strategy right now. Go single file, save as much tire as you can, and man, when you come on down, replace those tires and get 2 cans of gas right away. I guarantee you that is a strategy going on right before that first cycle of pit stops.
Yep, Simonfine moving into the top 10, passing the 16 of Joshua Kanata. He started deep in the field too, and he flipped his car in qualifying, but showing that he's got some speed underneath that 45 machine. Senesac getting loose there coming off turn 2, nearly clipping the wall. And the 16 of Kanata will get a run and pass Simonfine back for that 10th spot. The 12 of Eric Wineland moves closer on the 54 of Davey Hendricks. He'll go to the outside to generate a run of some sort to stay in front of 81 of Slaughter, just trying to look low. Sign fighting, looking like he's in a battle with Danny Ware, back for the 11th spot. Still back up to the top 3, and the gap is closing between 4th and 5th place in Garrett Heath and Nate Trito.
Well, I guarantee first through third are going to be thankful for what they're seeing, though. But the fact that notice the leader's been running a little bit of a higher line compared to others there. A lot of the other people have been running middle. Leader's going middle high line. It's been working out for him perfectly.
Especially for this top 2, they're liking what they're seeing because they are Samson Motorsports teammates. Those in Garrett Grant and in David Weishart. They're also trying to get their other teammate, Tyler Hallman, in the playoffs as well. So Samson Motorsports currently 1-2 on the racetrack with Tyler Hallman running in the 13th spot. So he came into the race with a 5-point cushion over the 56 of Christian DeBoer, which that has grown quite a bit as DeBoer is 21st and Hallman is up to 13th.
I'm kind of interested to see if they have, as no one has come down pit lane yet. So wondering if our pit strategy is off. Maybe these guys all know they can get past that 47th lap to keep one set of tires in the pit stop in the pit area for any late race caution. Zach Taylor, first one in.
Zach Taylor in. I asked Jacob Bell before the race what the fuel run was looking like, and he said they can at least go 40, but it wouldn't surprise me if they go more than 45.
44 is what Zach Taylor was on, and looks like we're going to get 4 tires and full fuel for him.
Like we got a couple more, one more driver down pit road actually. Looks like Brian Wasserman's on pit road also.
The damage on that right side.
Yeah, Wasserman did make contact with the wall coming out of turn 2. Didn't spin the car out though. It looked like significant contact that would get the car looser sideways coming off the corner, like we saw in practice before we went live and even in qualifying. That wasn't the case, and we are still caution-free here at Charlotte.
Looks like what these guys are going to try to do is try to get it in that 2 pit stops. Because they're working lap 46 now, so they only need another 2 laps, and they'll be in the good.
Like the 3 of Weishart's going to let the 15 of Cameron Hearn go to second. So he's going to pit. So David Weishart will go on the pit road.
Weishart and Bell.
Bit of an interesting call there. I thought that he would pit with teammate Garrett Grant, but that appears to not be the case as we see a good bit of drivers now on pit road.
They're trying to do it in 2 pit stops. So fuel and tires are going to be paramount here. So we have a heck of a strategy going on.
Yeah, definitely a very risky move, man. If it makes it work, though, man, holy cow, this would be a huge upset. If not, then I think you get where I'm going. It's not going to be looking really good there.
You see the front 2 going on the pit road, and you see in the background a number of drivers coming down pit road. And Eric Weiland is going to stay out and lead a lap, along with Simon Fiden, Bryce Senesac, Tyler Hallman, and Ed Robertson, along with the O2 of Jordan Martin. But see drivers like Brad Slaughter come down pit road, along with Joshua Kanata, Danny Ware. This will be interesting to see if pitting early helps you or if it hinders you. So there you see, that's David Weishart. He just came off of pit road, but you can already tell a difference in the tire wear. Weiland is nearing 50 laps on his set of tires, and Weishart's only got about 1. I mean, he's flying down the racetrack, and he's going to come out in front of the 15 and the 5. So when this thing cycles through, look for the 3 of David Weishart to cycle into the lead. Tyler Hallman is in pit road. It looks like Seinfeinen's come down pit road also. Jordan Martin and Christian DeBoer have now come down pit road, and it looks like the 12 of Weiland will come down pit road this time also. He gets a woe down.
Yeah, a lot of people coming
Brings
down pit
Bryce
road on this
Senesac
one.
and Ed Robertson on the pit road as well. So the top 3 are now in. Now we'll look for the 3 of David Weishart to cycle out in front and assume the race lead. Cameron Hearn looking like he'll be second. Almost said Colin Grant. Garrett Grant will move to third. Nate Trito fourth, and Garrett Heath in fifth. You'll have about a 1.5 second gap between Cameron Hearn and David Weishart. So I'm looking through, and it looks like the only driver that's going to be trapped a lap down after that is Brian Wasserman. And that is because he made significant contact with the wall. And looking at his pit stop, it was 39 seconds. But he spent over a minute in the pit lane from pit entrance to pit exit. The gap looking like it's going to continue to grow for David Weishart. So move on to the 18 of Danny Ware, who's currently holding the 10th position. And right behind him is Scott McClendon. Keep an eye on McClendon, though, because he is a must-win. He's in a must-win scenario where if he does not win tonight, he will not make the playoffs. This is the battle for fourth right now between Nate Trito and Garrett Heath. They're currently nose and tail in their own battle for the fourth position. So it looks like Zachary Taylor's trying to hold on to seventh. Well, he moved down to seventh. He's trying to hold on to sixth from Brad Slaughter. Slaughter just took over the position. They're also in a side-by-side battle of their own. And contact made. Taylor sideways. What a save from Zachary Taylor. He's going to keep it up in the wall. But an amazing save from Zachary Taylor to not spin the car out. And he immediately heads to pit road. He spins on pit road. Yeah. He was trying to woe the car down. He spins coming on the pit road. And he looks like he got a toe back. But
that's bad for Zach.
Yeah, bad for Zachary Taylor. He was battling for the sixth position with Brad Slaughter. Looked like as soon as he hit the wall, he made a beeline for the pit. And was obviously going too fast and trying to woe the car down. And spun it. It looked like he got a toe back to his pit also. So I'm not sure. That could lead to a disconnect, as we've seen that many times. It wouldn't surprise me. We'll have to see if the 24 will return to the racetrack or not. As we saw a great angle of that. Thank you, Harold, once again. One to Go Studios for providing us some great camera work and great camera shots. One of my favorites from the season had to have been Travis Beckner's save for the trucks at the Glen. And I know you and Dylan Young were there and saw that live. I mean, that was a phenomenal save, but also phenomenal camera work from you, Harold.
You know, just him and Shane Wolf coming up the S's, and we just happened to be on the battle there. Just kind of like we were there with the battle between him and Brad Slaughter.
All right, so it looks like Zachary Taylor has returned to the racetrack, although he's 2 laps down, and it looks like the 7 of Brian Wasserman is disconnected.
7
so Brian Wasserman
has given up. He's done.
Yep. So Brian Wasserman, currently the only car to retire early on from tonight's race. Still have 21 cars in running, although 20 of those currently on the lead lap. And while all that was going on, we still have a battle for fourth. Nate Trito holding on to it from Garrett Heath in the 23. We're not seeing them side by side like we did with Brad Slaughter and Zachary Taylor. I was gonna say back in the spot 10th between Tyler Hallman, there's a battle going on right behind him. Scott McClendon on the outside of Chris Scienfine. That's for the 11th position. Looks like McClendon going to take the higher approach. We'll see if he gets a run or not. And it looks like, give the position to Scienfine in the 45. He will prevail with that bottom run. And then just in front of those three, you see the 18 of Danny Ware currently in the 9th position.
See, Weishart just continues to keep that gap. Because I thought Hearn and
It looks
Grant
like Hearn is eating the gap because it was at 1.7 at one point, and now it's going down to 1.2. So it's going down gradually, but looks like the tire difference or difference in tires could be making a difference as we see the 15 and the 5 currently working together. Although the difference is only a lap, it's a gradual difference. We're looking at our chat here.
Yeah.
Ryan Hart's making a comeback next week. So Ryan Hart's won the 5th race of the season at Dover. Due to unfortunate circumstances, he missed a lot of races, but coming back for his own playoff push. Although he's not playoff eligible, he's still coming back, and he's looking to rumble up some feathers.
I think what we see here is we see Cameron Hearn and Grant now working in a 2-car tandem and using some of the drafting that still is available here at that 1.5 racetrack.
Absolutely, and 2 cars works better than 1, especially when it comes to aerodynamics and drafting. We're seeing that gap slowly dwindle from at one point it was 1.7 seconds, and it's going down to 1.1. So those two are working together. We still have Nate Trito holding on to 4th from Garrett Heath. Currently sits in the top 5. Brad Slaughter on his own in 6th. And then looking through, looks like Davey Hendricks might be under fire in a couple laps here from Joshua Canada. So they're running 7th and 8th respectively. And it looks like Scienfine might also join in, and it could be a 3-car battle for that 7th position. So we see Scienfine going underneath the 16 of Canada, and I'll move Scienfine up to the 8th spot. Well, that 45 looks like it's 45 looks like it's on rails because he started all the way in the back, Chris Scienfine. So he flipped his car in qualifying and did not go back out for another run, but he is making his move inside the top 10, trying to work into the top 5 as he's right behind the 54 of Davey Hendricks, your regular season points leader, heading into tonight's race.
Gap is now Hearn within drafting of the number 3 now.
Looks like Hearn's he's starting to pull away a little bit from the 5 of Garrett Grant, although whenever the 15 does catch up to the 3 of Weishart, and who knows, he could make his move, that will bring in the 5 of Garrett Grant, because as we saw in the early laps, side-by-side action, you can't stay side-by-side for too long because that car behind or the cars behind you, they will catch in a hurry. And if you don't complete the pass, they can all run on the outside and they can leave you in the dust on the inside. So catching the lap traffic there, the 77 of Jacob Bell, who's yet to go a lap down. trying to do everything in his power to stay on the lead lap because he might be in a points crunch of his own. He was only 15 to the good heading into tonight's race, and he's 20th on the racetrack right now. So, depending on how his situation goes, he might be outside looking in.
A little wiggle out of the 3 there. Hearn and Grant definitely within striking distance now of the race leader.
It's a bad time to have a wiggle because the 5 is rejoined on the backside or closer to the backside of Cameron Hearn. Garrett Grant is close back in on the 15 of Cameron Hearn, and looks like those two are working together as we approach the halfway point of tonight's race. Do a little halfway rundown presented by Swift Lifestyles. Fans, be sure to visit our sponsor Swift Lifestyles for clean supplements that help improve your focus and gaming. Use the discount code on your screen, Area iRacing, AREA iRacing, for 15% off your entire order. I'd like to give a big thanks to Swift Lifestyles for their support of the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series. Now we'll do our rundown here as David Weishart in the lead for the moment, but for how much longer? He's led 21 laps now. So he's looking to get another bonus point as he's trying to take the regular season championship away from Davey Hendricks. And he's got a bonus point for leading a lap. He's trying to get another one for leading the most laps. We move on back now to Cameron Hearn, who's slowly closing in on him. He's yet to lead tonight, but he's starting to get hot at the right time. He won last week at the Glen, and he's been inside the top 3 for the majority of the night. Right behind him, we have the 5 of Garrett Grant, who was leading the opening 45 laps or so throughout the race. So he's currently got the most laps left, but he's still looking for that first win. Oh, as we got the 77 of Jacob Bell. I'm not sure what happened there, but a change in position. Garrett Grant now moves to second. Cameron Hearn down to third. And then Nate Trito trying to gain more ground on those top 3. He's kind of been the fourth fiddle tonight as he's had a top 5 car. He's just been struggling to get up to the top 3, I should say. So he's been riding in 4th, and then riding in 5th right behind him for the majority of the night is Garrett Heath. As Garrett Heath has a substantial points cushion. So as long as he started tonight, he's in the playoffs. And he is currently in the playoffs for starting tonight. Moving on now to the 81 of Brad Slaughter. Oh, go on. I didn't know who was going to talk next.
Yeah, this Dylan. Okay, well, I'll grab here. Brad Slaughter in 6th spot in the Luminar 81. Doing pretty good in the Truck Series. Was our Truck Series regular season champion. Behind him is, like you said, that Reese's paint scheme in the Northern Capital 45 is Chris Seidenfaden in the 7th spot. David Hendricks puts out the Skittles every week, and he's the current points leader. But right at the moment, it looks like he may be giving that up to David Weishart. We'll see as the laps continue to tick away. Joshua Canada in the 16th spot, or in the 16th car in the 9th spot. And Eric Wineland, number 12, who's our 3rd place point sitter right now, is running that high line in the 10th spot. Has led 4 laps from Altoona, Pennsylvania. That's our.
And he's been the only one trying to run that outside line. And yes, that was your halfway rundown presented by Swift Lifestyles. But really quick, want to touch up on drivers who are currently in a points battle. Those being Scott McClendon in the 29. He's really winning in. If he doesn't win tonight, he won't make the playoffs. Looking to see where he is on the racetrack right now. He's currently 14th. As we mentioned, he is in a points crunch. He needs the win or he will not make the playoffs. And then driver heading into the night, 5 points on the outside, trying to lock his own position in, Christian DeBoer. And he is 5 points behind Tyler Hallman, as DeBoer's been running in the back majority of the night. Tyler Hallman's worked his way inside the top 10. He's currently 1 spot out at the moment in the 11th position. He had a 5 points cushion to the good. We're looking here. Delonte Ballard was 7 points to the good, as we see there the 52 of Tyler Hallman, the 3rd Sampson car. His teammates are running 1-2. Delonte Ballard had a 7-point cushion heading into tonight's race. He's currently back in 16th. He was running inside the top 5 at one point very early on, but As the run went on, his car started to fade, and he currently finds himself in the 16th position. And then the two other drivers that were really, they both had a 15-point cushion. Ed Robertson, who he's having a bit of a quiet night. Really haven't seen him in too much trouble. Currently 13th on the track right now, trying to get past the 18 of Danny Ware, and that's for the 12th spot. And then Jacob Bell. Jacob Bell, this is an interesting one because he was 15 points to the good, but he's currently 20th on the racetrack. And I'm not sure if he had anything to do with what happened in the middle of our rundown between Garrett Grant and Cameron Hearn, because we just saw a close-up, and Hearn checked up and he lost a spot to Garrett Grant. So I'm not sure if Jake had anything to do with that or not. But nonetheless, there was a position change between the second and third position of Garrett Grant and Cameron Hearn.
And Zachary Taylor has put it behind the wall for the night.
I single-handedly blame that on you, Harold, because you picked him to win.
That's right. It's all my fault. He's looking pretty good in the beginning of the race. You know, that contact with Brad Slaughter started a domino effect, I believe, in the number 24 car.
As Dylan, your pick was, I believe it was Scott McClendon. He started in 20th, and he's currently running inside
13th.
Well, he's running in the 13th spot. All right, so he's moved up. Where's my pick? Nate Trito. Currently fourth. But hey, something happens to the top three. He's in the catbird seat. If we're looking on here, we're nearing we're about 10 laps or so away from drivers coming back down pit road and making their pit stop. No, and almost forgot. Jacob Bell picked the 5 of Garrett Grant to win, so maybe he had something to do with that. Maybe he slowed down in front of the 15 to let the 5 go because he picked him to win. Obviously, I'm joking here. I don't think he would do that at all.
No, he's not giving nothing to nobody.
Jacob Bell now, after going a lap down, has stayed within this pack. Oh, now the 15 going down low and back up. Not sure what the case is there. But the top three are all running in this pack right here. Then Nate Trito's got a 1 second or about a second and a half margin between him and fifth place Garrett Heath. Really, you got to go back to where Chris Seinfeld is running in 7th, where he's got Davey Hendricks, Eric Wineland close on his tail, and Joshua Kanata trying to close in on that as Wineland continuing to run the outside on the 54 of Hendricks. So actually, that was the battle for 8th. He's taken the 8th spot away from Hendricks. And that's not what the 54 needs to see, because Weissart's already got a bonus point for leading a lap. He gets another point for leading the most laps. That will put David Weissart in as the regular season champion, because the regular season champion gets 15 bonus points, and if you finish second, it goes down to 8. Well, sorry, it goes down to 10, then down to 8. So that could be very crucial for the 54 of Davey Hendricks as we go into the playoffs. It looks like the 5 going to peek to the outside, then go back down in line.
Getting busy up here.
Yeah, very busy. Hearn now looking to the outside of Garrett Grant for the 2nd spot. It looks like the 5 got loose, the 15 with the run on the outside. And there you see the 3 going down low to help his teammate get some of that draft so he can stay in the 2nd spot, or try to keep him in 2nd. The 5 looking really loose there on the bottom of the 15 of Hearn with a big run off of turn 4. So he's trying to complete the pass here, but the 5 has the preferred line going into the corner, and he's got draft from the 3 of Weishart.
Jacob Bell, who is the lap down, staying with his lead lap guys, to stay the first car lap down in case something happens.
Yeah, I talked to him in the pre-race. He's running on a completely different setup right now. He's currently running on a laptop in the midst of moving, so that would be the reason why. And he's told me he's running 23 frames a second, and the cars look like boxes. So Can imagine the struggle that he's going through right now as he's running 20th. First car one lap down. So he's looking to
able to
stay.
hold himself right there the whole time, though. He's doing pretty good. And since these guys have passed him, he just fell right in line with them. Then there's no other cars a lap down other than him. So right now he's in a good position to get that lap back if something happens a little later. We saw a player get into the playoffs last night with a very tore up race car by just keeping it in contention to stay on the lead lap.
Well, the 15 of Hearn, he's trying to get by that 5. Doesn't matter where he goes, to the outside or to the inside. He knows that the 3 will help him in any case. And looks like he's going to try and peak low, then come back up.
A little bit of contact with the wall there from the 15. They're about to catch Christian DeBoer up in front of here, though.
Yeah, Christian DeBoer is the next car in front of those guys, and he's looking to stay on the lead lap as he's trying to somehow find his way inside of the playoffs. But right now, it's not looking like that'll happen, although there's still over 50 laps to go and anything could happen. He's running 19th trying to stay on the lead lap. Meanwhile, Tyler Hallman is one spot outside of the top. Actually, sorry, he just dropped down to 12th, but still a good margin between Hallman and DeBoer. Got to feel comfortable if you're Tyler Hallman, although we've seen a couple times tonight where that could have been an early end to the night for Tyler Hallman. He was racing in that back part of the pack. Driver's getting close to the wall in turn 2. Nearly went wrong there very early on, but still running. We see the 81 of Brad Slaughter right behind the 23 of Garrett Heath. That's going to be the battle for the 5th position. We are now within 50 laps left. Dylan, want to get your take from how this race has been so far and what we could possibly see in this next round of pit stops.
Not sure if we've got Dylan. We have him in the chat room. Not sure if he's hearing us. But, we got all these guys here and trying to figure out what they're going to do. Looks like, based on the push we saw, with Wineland, they can go 50 laps. So it's inside the pit window for the final pit stops.
Yeah, they are. And we've seen drivers go 50 laps on a tank of fuel here, or on a fuel run here, some even more. Could happen again, but it's looking like they're setting up for what could be, if this were to happen, a late race yellow where each driver has 3 sets of tires, and whenever these guys come back down pit road again, they would be on their second set, so they'd have a 3rd set waiting for them just in case a yellow were to come out. This top 3 still tail and tail here. Jacob Bell on the back end of this pack. Well, Cameron Hearn is trying everything he can to get by the 5 of Garrett Grant, and he's got the preferred line here as they go into turn 1. And Weishart might give up the lead here. Hearn now to the inside of the 3 of Weishart. And he's going to do it. An amazing move there from the 15 of Cameron Hearn. He's been trying for so many laps to get around the 5. He gets around the 5 and the 3. Samson teammates. So put the 15 of Cameron Hearn into the lead. We're inside of 50 to go here at Charlotte.
Couple of cars on pit lane. Slaughter and Wineland. VRA drivers down pit lane.
We expect to see more people coming down pit road, as we are now in the window of if drivers come down pit road anywhere from now until potentially the last lap, if that were the case, they are good to go with fuel.
Scott McClendon down pit lane, number 29.
It looks like the Samson teammates will pit now. Weishart and Grant on the pit road. We'll have to see what the rest of the field does, as it looks like
Jake Bell as
the
well
one of
down here.
Trino coming down pit road. Yep, Jacob Bell also on pit road. Zion Fine and Davey Hendricks going to stay out.
Like
Garrett
Danny
Heath
Ware
also
staying
coming
out.
down pit road.
Oh, wait, top 8 have yet to pit.
Here comes the 15 of Hearn flying into pit road. I believe he's slowed down in time. There's a 45 of Zion Fine. He will be your leader. It looks like Davey Hendricks has come down pit road also. Said Robertson stays out. So does Joshua Kanata. Tyler Hallman staying out also. Danny Ware actually came down pit road and pitted.
And so top 4 still need to come down pit lane.
It's a little bit interesting to see where the 15 of Hearn comes out on pit road, because the 5 and the 3 are coming down the front stretch, and Hearn is just now on pit exit. It'll be interesting to see where they come out, because this could be the battle for the lead, or for the win here, potentially. Looks like Hearn came out in front of Weishart, although Weishart has passed him. Garrett Grant right behind the 15. Now we see Joshua Kanata, Tyler Holman, and Delonte Ballard on pit road also. Still waiting on the 45 is Cy Fine to come down pit road, along with the 64 of Ed Robertson.
Christian DeBoer will also need to come down pit lane, but he's trying to stay out because he was in danger of going down a lap to the race leaders. Side Foden's going to come down this time by as he puts himself down the inside layer in the backstretch.
If he's got all the room in the world to slow down and won't have to worry about anyone from behind ramming him. There we see him coming down to pit road. Robertson's going to stay out and lead a lap here.
It looks like everybody else has come down pit lane, so Robertson, the last car to get service for the last pit stop under green flag conditions.
It's right behind Robertson. You see Eric Wineland, the first car, 1 lap down. Time finding now on the, well, he was on the pit road. There, Robertson now slowing down, coming on the pit road. So Eric Wineland and Davey Hendricks will get their lap back. We move over to the 3 of Weishart, who's got a pretty comfortable lead right now. It looks like once the cycle's through, we're going to have a change for the 4th spots. Brad Slaughter, he will find himself in 4th. Trito down the 5th, and Garrett Heath in 6th. David Weishart once again comes out with a lead of about 1.6 to 1.7 seconds from Cameron Hearn and Garrett Grant. And in the last run, we saw the two drafting together, working together to get back up to Weishart. So he'll come off turn 4, and once he crosses the stripe, will be 40 laps left in this race. The America's Auto Auction regular season finale at Charlotte. So after tonight, we'll set our field for our 12-driver playoff field that will go down and run the next 5 races for a championship. It'll go to Atlanta, Richmond, Michigan, Kansas, and Phoenix, where we will crown a champion in the desert. And David Weishart making a strong case for why he should be champion. He's looking for his 3rd win on the year, and he's looking for that regular season championship, because that will give him 15 bonus points heading into the playoffs. Where heading into tonight's race, it was Davey Hendricks, and he's currently running 7th right now. But I think if Weishart leads the most laps here, I'll give him 2 bonus points. That might put him in front of the 54 in points.
It'll be an awful close. We have to crunch numbers before we're done tonight.
It'll be very close, because Hendricks came in tonight with a 7-point cushion. I'm not sure if he's led a lap, because the first lap you lead for a driver, that's a bonus point. And then leading the most laps will be another bonus point. So looking like the 3 of Weishart might come away with 2 bonus points, and Hendricks has not led a lap. So according to my calculations, if everything were to stay the same right now, it seems like the 3 of Weishart would be your regular season champion.
Both of them are ineligible for the 0 incidents. Both of them have incident points as well tonight.
We move back up to the 3 of Weishart leading, and then right behind him in the bright green car, it's Jordan Martins. He's the first car 1 lap down. So if a caution were to come out, he would be the lucky dog. And then he would rejoin the field as the 17th driver on the lead lap. But right now we have 16 on the lead lap, and 20 still running in the race. Had a couple of early retirees. Brian Wasserman got up in the wall in turn 2, and his night wasn't the same, so he came down and parked it. And then Zachary Taylor was battling with Brad Slaughter for the 6th position heading into turn 3. The two made contact. 24 got sideways, went into the wall, then made a beeline for the pit entrance and slid, spun the car out, got a tow back, and that was basically the end of his night. He went on, came back out 2 laps down, but parked it after a few more laps. Looks like the 3 of Weishart's increasing his lead, and that is because of the draft that he's got. Because that last time around, he had a 1.7 second lead between he and Cameron Hearn, but Weishart had no one to draft off of. Cameron Hearn had Garrett Grant, and the two worked together to get up to the front. But now that the 3 has help not only in front of him, but he's got help behind him, he can also, I don't think fuel will be a factor, but he could also save some fuel if that became an issue. But more importantly, he's pulling away from 2nd and 3rd on the track.
Caution.
Oh,
And the caution comes out. And this is going to change everything because that will put the 0-2 of Jordan Martin in the lead. So we'll look at our one-to-go replay here. Looking like the 0-9 of Bryce Senesac might have been involved in this caution.
McClendon, Senesac, and Hallman all involved.
Oh, Tyler Hallman involved. All right, well, it should be coming up here as they come down the back stretch. Looks like, is that Joshua Kanata to the inside there? Looks like it. Oh, and
there
they
they
go.
all three
Wide.
together.
Wide.
Bing, bing,
Yeah.
bing.
Scott
Yep.
McClendon. Oh, boy.
Oh, hard
a
leg.
hard hit. Yeah, hard hit to the outside wall for Bryce Senesac. Very
Ouch.
fortunate for Tyler Holman that he did not get any more contact in that. That was our one-to-go replay presented by Northern Capital. We'd like to give a big thanks to Russ and Steve Anderson of Northern Capital for their support of the Northern Capital Truck Series and from all of us here at Araya. So now we'll see drivers come down the pit road here and putting on their last set of fresh tires.
yeah, this is definitely the money stop right here. And this is where you got to really execute your pit strategy right here. So I guarantee you all these drivers who are on that lead lap there, this is really where you got to hit your mark.
Oh, we got a couple staying out. Chris Scienfine stayed out, and Tyler Hallman stayed out also. Looks like Ed Robertson's going to stay out as well. And Blair Patterson.
Well,
So the top 4 stay out.
If our admin has anything to say for that contact, if Hallman was involved, we could put him back to the end of the line.
And very well could. He could get an EOL, and that would put him at the back part of this field. Oh, and it looks like Eric Weiland has taken over. He's won the race off pit road. He's moved up to 5th. Looks like he might have taken 2 tires on the pit stop.
Yep, 2 tires, 7.7 seconds. Definitely a 2-tire stop.
Definitely something to keep an eye out for because he's one of the only ones that I've seen that can work that top groove.
It'll be about 27 or 28 laps left when we go back to green flag. So Seidenfaden and Hallman, as well as Robertson and Patterson, are all taking the gamble that, 10 laps into the tires is not enough to come down, and they're banking on another caution to come out. And then they'll come and get their pads in after that.
Ed Robertson's got only 9 laps on his tires. One that really strikes out to me is Blair Patterson.
Well, he just went down line. He just came down, Patterson did.
Hallman also went down pit road too.
Yep. So Chris Seidenfaden and Robertson are the only 2.
And Christian DeBoer is on the lead lap still. Christian DeBoer is on the lead lap, so Hallman will be behind. Oh, actually. Oh, yeah, that was right. My apologies.
And Jake got his lap back.
Well, Jordan Martin was the free pass position.
But Jacob Bell got his position because he stayed out.
Oh, okay.
He stayed out. He's in front of the leader side. He's the 3 in front. You got DeBoer.
Oh, yeah, no, that makes
and
sense now.
Delonte Ballard. The 3 of them will get waved around the pace car.
Yeah, they all get waved around. I was looking at the scoring pylon. I was like, whoa, well,
And
there's definitely a glitch there. But no, those three, Delonte Ballard, Jacob Bell, and Christian DeBoer, they are in front of the leader, Chris Seinfeld, and they will begin the wave around.
Tyler Hallman was given the end of longest line penalty for the contact that brought out the caution.
So something we will keep an eye on because that will put him behind the 56 of Christian DeBoer. We're approaching the restart.
No, it won't.
Oh, because
he'll be in the lot. He'll be at the end of the longest line when they wave them around.
Right.
So he will be
Okay.
in front of these three.
Little confusion there, but it looks like that will be the case. So the 52 of Tyler Hallman, given an EOL, he will restart. Looks like he'll restart 17th.
Yep, because Jake Bell, DeBoer, and Sinisak. Well,
Actually 16th. He's already there. Yeah.
Delonte Ballard, 16th. Or actually, he's 15th and 16th with 0-2. But we'll see where exactly he ends up. Looks like the 45, Seidenfaden has chosen the high line. Let Roberts take the low line.
So this will be an interesting restart. Dylan, what have your thoughts been so far on the race, and what can we expect to see on this restart?
Well, it's been a lot of calm racing for the most part there. Everyone's really been keeping their cool for the most part, minus that one caution that we've had. But I'll tell you what, though. I mean, it's been a lot of strategy, and I think now that caution has really taken play there, I think we will either get a long green flag run towards the end, or we may have one more caution that really could come into play and could really change even more from there. But I can guarantee you for the rest of the way, I think these drivers are just going to keep it green, probably save a little bit. Who knows, though, but it's been a very crazy race, though, nonetheless, though, especially with the fact how it's been calm, but crazy enough, though.
Well, Christian DeBoer, if another caution comes back out, he would be, within a few laps, he'll get some tires on, burn up. He's got another set of tires in his pit stall, and it could be really a good thing for him to not taking tires on this stop.
Green flag flies once more. Here at Charlotte, Chris Seinfeld again to jump the inside line, not going again. That's going to allow the three of Weishart to go down low, or he'll go back up top. Seinfeld hold on to the lead for the moment. Robertson falls back to fourth. We see the field coming off turn 2 and down the backstretch, 3 wide there.
Yeah, that Reese Chevrolet's throwing a massive block right there, and now, couldn't make the block there.
Car in the wall. Car in the wall, and they're 3 wide in the middle of turn 4.
Garrett Heath into the wall, the 23.
So Garrett Heath made contact with the wall. No caution out. We are still green. David Weiss starts taking the lead away from Chris Seinfeld. Garrett Grant in third. Meanwhile, Ed Robertson currently in fourth. And then rounding out that top 5 is a 15 of Cameron Hearn. And they're 3 wide again.
Whoa.
Turn 2.
Scott
Close
McClendon
battle there. Eric Wineland, Scott McClendon, and the 81 of Brad Slaughter, 3 wide there, heading into turn 3. Oh, he contact again. Hearn into the wall. Cameron Hearn just slid into the wall in turn 4. Got some jockeying going on here in the middle of the pack. Everyone keeping it going so far. Once again, no caution, but that top 2 once again goes to the 3 of Weishart and the 5 of Grant.
Contact between Trito, Hearn, and Robertson.
Yeah, that was pretty scary right there, man. They almost caused a big melee coming over on turn 2 at that point, man. But these drivers very well on alert. Good job trying to avoid that mess right there.
And 2 of those drivers that were in front of the melee were the 1 of Nate Trito and the 54 of Davey Hendricks. Hendricks now back in a window where he could snatch up the regular season points title. Oh, looks like there was contact made there going into turn 1 or close to with Scott McClendon. McClendon, he's in a must-win scenario. He's in the 5th spot. This is the highest he's been all night.
Yeah, I'm telling you, can't doubt him out there. This is why I picked him. Sometimes this is where you really get to see a driver really make a shine right there. So he is really making the effort right there. But don't count out that 5 car there. That 5 car has had some of the strongest effort all night long, and I would not be surprised he's going to try to battle for that lead probably within the next few laps if he gets a good run right now.
Well, he might just play the role of blocker because he and the 3 of David Weishart are teammates with Samson Motorsports, and the 1 of Nate Trito, currently not affiliated with any driver, and then the 54 of Davey Hendricks, he is not with Samson, he's with VRA. So something we'll have to keep an eye out for and see if the 5 will block the 1 and they come off turn 4. Was almost contact there. Looks like the 1 and the 54 are going to bump draft. Getting a big run here going into turn 1. Single file here for the majority of the field as they go down the backstretch. David Weishart still leading.
Yeah, they definitely have calmed it a lot now, especially how they were racing pretty crazy the last 5 laps earlier, man. They realized, okay, we still got a little bit more of a race to go. So, definitely you have to find the balance of being patient and aggressive. And if you're the drivers in the back, this is where you want to be aggressive. You were the drivers towards the front, not really a whole lot on the aggressive side, just a little bit. But I'm telling you though, whew.
Bad news for number 12. That 2-tire stop did not do anything for him, but send him backwards in a hurry. All the way back to 14th is the number 12, Eric Weiland.
As we move back, the 16th and 17th position, it's very close between Tyler Hallman and Christian DeBoer. Now remember, Hallman had a 5-point advantage over DeBoer heading into tonight's race. So as they run right now, Hallman would only be in by about a spot.
Christian DeBoer, 0 incident points.
That is a bonus point, having 0 incident points. So that would put DeBoer in front of Hallman if things were to stay the same right now.
Well, right now they would be even for points tonight, and it would keep DeBoer out by 4 points, I believe it was, right?
Well, Hallman had a 5-point. Well, it might.
Hallman.
This hurts my brain.
Whoa,
battle for
contact.
30.
Oh,
Cameron Hurd
hang on.
sideways after getting hit by
4
the
wide.
Frito.
Oh, wow. They were about 4 wide for a brief second. That would have been really bad if that were the case. But they are 3 wide behind.
McClendon making a move up on the field. He's moving into the 4th spot, trying to stay in front of Brad Slaughter. And he will. We approach that battle there. The 15 looked like he was making a move and then got hit by the 1. Now Cameron Hurd finds himself looking to see where he is. I don't see him inside the top 10 anymore.
The 15 is now all the way back to 19th. And a lap down.
Oh, a lap down. That baffles my brain. I have no clue what happened there. He's 2 laps down now. That might have been Garrett Heath.
That might have been Heath. They're both infinite drivers, so a little bit similarity in paint schemes.
Oh no, it was Cameron Hurd then. That was Cameron Hurd.
Him and Nate Trito made contact.
I'm shocked to see that he's 2 laps down. I have no clue what happened there. How long did he make his pit stop?
He went back down pit lane for his 4th pit stop, basically just 5 laps ago.
I am confused by that.
5 laps ago. Maybe the damage he had on his car.
Might have been the case. Meanwhile, David Weishart continues to run away with it. Garrett Grant is 2nd. 3rd is Davey Hendrickson. 4th is Scott McClendon, needing a win to make it into the playoffs, and he's 3 spots away from doing that. So that still baffles me because I thought he was running in 3rd, but he was actually a lap or 2 down, and just Trito was looking low and blocked, and I have no clue. That still baffles me.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that 5 car is starting to reel in that leader just a little bit there, just ever so slightly, man. So if I were that leader, I'd better be very careful. That 5's on the charge.
And if Davey Hendricks and Scott McClendon could get paired up, they might be able to catch the top 2 and pass them both.
So, yeah, the 3 and the 5 are teammates, and I'm sure teammates are talking about how to keep Weishart ahead of Hendricks, but it's not going to be enough if Hendricks stays in his current position. May even challenge to the race lead as he's coming up as well with Grant.
Yeah, Davey Hendricks trying to generate a run to get around or close enough to the 5 of Garrett Grant. These two, David Weishart and Garrett Grant, they've been up front all night long, both of which have led multiple laps. Weishart has led the most laps up to this point. The field still spread out here as we are inside of 15 laps to go, presented by SimSpeedShop. We would like to thank SimSpeedShop for their support of the SimSpeedShop Cup Series this season in Araya, and racers can visit their website at www.simspeedshop.com to find multiple items to complete your virtual racing setup, such as button boxes, wheels, racing gear, and much more. That is www.simspeedshop.com. David Weishart continues to lead with teammate Garrett Grant running in the second spot. Davey Hendricks in third, looking like he might secure that regular season championship as we run. Scott McClendon currently fourth. He needs a win to make it to the playoffs. And running in the fifth spot is Brad Slaughter. So it looks like those two are going to work together now, Scott McClendon and Davey Hendricks, if they want any shot at catching the front two. And for McClendon, this is if he wants any shot at making the playoffs. So actually he's going to look to the inside now of Davey Hendricks. So McClendon up to third and Hendricks down to fourth. Maybe, well, actually they're side by side. No, they're not. Sorry. They are now nose and tail. Maybe the 54 will lead the 29 into the front two.
Yeah, I'm telling you, when we're getting closer to 10 to go, I guarantee that aggression level is going to really kick in for some of these drivers. They really want this win badly here. These guys are really going to push these cars to the limit, man. I'm telling you, they're going to put on a show.
7 car lengths separate the 5 of Grant and the 29 of Scott McClendon. Now, Harold, what is around the margin where drivers can start to feel the effects of the draft on mile
He's
and a half?
already there, 8 tenths.
Oh, 8 tenths. Okay, so he's within that margin. So something we'll have to keep an eye on as the laps start to dwindle here at Charlotte.
He's also getting a push from behind from Hendricks as well. So he's helping there, but it's just not quite. I mean, he's edged Grant by a tenth the last lap.
And that's the thing with the 550 horsepower package is that it's virtually wide open. You might have to let off just a little bit, but it could ruin your lap time by as much as a tenth or 2 tenths. So right now, Scott McClendon barely clinging on to that draft. As it looks like Brad Slaughter. Caution's out. Caution is out on the racetrack. Forget everything I just said. This changes everything. We're going to be set up with a very interesting finish here tonight at Charlotte. We look at a replay here, and it's the 15 of Cameron Hearn and the 1 of Nate Trito. Wouldn't surprise me if they made contact. And they did. And the ones got hooked into the wall. Cameron Hearn. These two have had multiple run-ins within the last 20 laps or so. Since we went back to green, very interesting there. I'm not sure if there will be a point penalty or something for the 15 of Cameron Hearn.
Here brings in stuff. A lot of these drivers have no tires left. Seidenfaden, Robertson, Ballard, DeBoer, Jacob Bell all still have tires.
This could be DeBoer's chance at making the playoffs because, assuming he pits, he could easily pass the 52 of Tyler Hallman, and depending on how many spots he gets, he could be within that 5-point cushion.
I mean, that is true, but just strategy could really come into play, and I mean, there's still many question marks, man. I'm telling you, just who really is going to want to roll the dice?
Well, I don't know if anyone up front here is going to do it, but it looks like, a good bit of people paying from 10th on back have pitted, although not everyone has a set of tires just lying around. As Harold mentioned, one of the few that do are Ed Robertson, Jacob Bell, Christian DeBoer, and I believe one other that I can't remember at the moment. But Jacob Bell comes out 10th.
So Garrett Heath must be getting serviced with something else, maybe getting some damage repaired.
It looks like it. There's some damage there to the bumper of the 23, the right rear quarter panel.
Eric
There's
Wineland
the
came
Hallman
down.
coming down pit road. But Hallman doesn't have any tires left.
Eric Wineland had his probably left sides left.
Yeah, Wineland did have 2 tires left and would assume that it is the left side tires. but something that
Garrett
we'll
Heath
definitely have to
still
keep an eye on.
Garrett Heath still on pit lane. 41
Ed
seconds.
Robertson. Ed Robertson also with a
Cameron
fresh set of tires.
Hearn on pit lane.
I don't think Hearn will return to the racetrack. Looks like Trito is back 1 lap down.
Clip and the front clip and the rear clip both off of the Trito machine.
Yeah, the 1 car took a hard hit to the outside wall in turn 1.
So we'll be like 5 laps to go when we go back green.
Yep, so the lights are still on the pace car, so it'll take at least another lap around before we see those caution lights go out. Boy, oh boy, does this change everything. So Scott McClendon, instead of having to catch up from 6/10 back to get to the bumper of the 5, he'll be on the inside. And you know what? Actually, the 3 of Weissard might take the outside. Looks like Jacob Bell's having some issues right now because he's currently scored as our leader.
Nate Trito he went down pit lane now. He went down after everybody else. So he wanted to get a lap lead, I believe.
Oh no, the scoring was just glitched because the top 9 stayed out and Jacob Bell was the first one to come back.
Not
Just
sure
a little glitch there, but
not sure how that happened. But anyway.
anyway, the 3 of Weissart.
I was about to say that Nate Trito has been given an end of longest line, I believe. Yes. Admin had put Nate Trito at fault for that contact between him and Hearn.
Very interesting there. So it looks like the field will get the 1 to go this time by. I'm not sure if Brad Slaughter is coming down pit road or not. He's running the apron. Nonetheless, the 3 of Weissart will have control of where he chooses to restart as anyone's still on the track. So I feel like he might take the outside, and then Garrett Grant will have the bottom, and he will slow down McClendon. It looks like that's what's going to be the case. The lights are out on the pace car. We'll have another lap here before it pulls into pit road, and we'll have 5 laps to go for the regular season finale here at Charlotte. So David Weishart going to restart as your leader. Colin, said it again. Garrett Grant starting 2nd. Restarting 3rd is Davey Hendricks, who needs a win to make it into the playoffs. Or actually, I'm messing things up. Scott McClendon 3rd. He needs a win or he's out of the playoffs. Davey Hendricks restarting 4th. As long as he's within 7 positions of the 3 of Weishart, he will have the regular season title, and he will have 15 bonus points heading into the playoffs. And then Brad Slaughter going to restart in 5th. Boys, what do we see in these next 5 laps?
Everything.
Get ready for the fun.
And drivers have been already called to the hauler, and communications have been muted between some of the drivers already for that last caution. So tempers be flaring.
Tempers are flaring indeed.
Yeah, not want to be those people in the garage area. That's not going to be fun.
Can only imagine what that's going to be like, but we have a race to settle here first. The pace car going to pull into pit road one final time, and the 3 of Weishart is the control car. We're green once more here at Charlotte with 5 to go. And the inside line did not go at all. McClendon didn't go. So the 5 looks like he might retain the 2nd position, although Davey Hendricks looking like he might put a charge on the outside. They go down the backstretch here and contact
Patterson.
Many cars getting close to the wall. Blair Patterson clipping it. Danny Ware sideways. It looks like everyone keeping it straight for the moment. But boy, Scott McClendon did not have a good restart there. He's fallen outside the top 5 as his playoff hopes are dwindling as we approach 4 laps to go now at Charlotte.
I mean, it ain't over until it's over.
Christian DeBoer, 15th
it is
spot.
true. Chris Sion fighting. Oh, we got cars sideways all over the place in turn 1.
3 wide for that 2nd position, man. They're getting pretty dicey, but that's the time to do it, though, man. With 4 laps to go, you got to push that aggression level to go,
Holman
man.
to the inside. Chris Seinfeld holding on to 2nd. Here comes Seinfeld on the outside.
Wow, what a run.
Car with a massive run. Go to the lead with Eric Weiland. 3 laps to go. David Weishart is watching the race slip away from his grasp Now Holman moves up to third. Weiland in the second, but Seidenfeinen with an amazing move on the outside, moving into the lead.
Seidenfeinen has 4 sets of Goodyear Eagles that he just put on that car.
Yeah, that car was
He's
flying. He
using them
took
to
a
his
run in that
advantage.
high line. He didn't look back at all. What a move.
2 laps to go now as Seidenfeinen leading the way with Eric Weiland in second. Weiland might make a charge at it.
Weiland
Tyler
does
Holman
have,
into third.
Weiland just changed changed 2 tires, so not completely. He doesn't have all 4, but he's got 2. But I think 45 is just going to be, he's almost toying with these guys at this point.
So here they come off turn 4. 1 lap to go in the regular season here at Charlotte, presented by One to Go Studios. Chris Seidenfeinen with the newer tires, using that to his advantage, with Eric Weiland helping him get to the lead with 2 left side tires. And then Tyler Holman running in third.
Oh, that 12 is going to make an effort. Look at this.
You might have one last charge here as they go into turn 3 and 4 for the final time. Seidenfeinen holding on to the lead. The 12 watching the lead go and the win go to the 45 of Chris Seidenfeinen. He comes off turn 4 and he wins at Charlotte. Weiland in second, Holman in third, and Delonte Ballard up to 4th, with David Weishart falling back to 5th.
Christian DeBoer all the way up to 11th. Points are going to have to be tabulated before we can see anything about what happened with the playoffs tonight.
An amazing finish here at Charlotte with a 5-lap dash to the checkered. We saw the 3 and the 5 running 1-2, and then all of a sudden, Eric Weiland pushed the 45 of Chris Seidenfeinen with newer tires to the lead. And there you see him spinning, doing burnouts, and he's going to tap the wall there to pass post-race inspection. So number 45, Reese's Throwback with Northern Capital aboard. Going to do burnouts here as he wins tonight's America's Auto Auction regular season finale at Charlotte. A lot to unpack, though, as one of the playoff drivers, Cameron Hearn, let his tempers get the best of him with Nate Trito, and both of those drivers are in the admin hauler waiting. So there might be a points penalty for Cameron Hearn. But we'll try and get our race winner up here of Chris Seidenfeinen. In an unbelievable finish, a late race yellow that gave Seidenfeinen this opportunity. He had 4 new tires left to use, and he used them. He used them up good because he got up to the front, wasted no time whatsoever, and got the win here at Charlotte. We'll go ahead and drag him up now. This is your race winner, Chris Seidenfeinen. Chris, this is Hunter, Harold, and Dylan in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Boy, oh boy, what a finish. You used those tires to the fullest. I mean, take us through what was going through your head when that caution came out.
When the caution came out, I was just happy that I had the fresh set. I didn't think with 5 to go or whatever it was, I didn't think that it would have that big of an impact, because it was insane the amount of speed that I had off of the turns there. It was insane. It felt like I was driving a rocket there at the end, and it was just, I got lucky there with the caution though. So, but yeah, it was really, really fun at the end there.
Yeah, I was just about ready to say your car was just absolutely flying towards the end, man. That was probably one of the best moves I've seen in the High Line in Charlotte for quite some time, man. Just regarding those last few laps, I mean, compared to earlier in the race to the end of the race, that caution was definitely one of the saving grace moments at all, for sure, wasn't it?
Oh, for sure. And the first run, I saved tire pretty well because I started 21st because I hit the wall on both of my laps. But the third lap that I ran was actually a 110, which would have been the pole. So on my hot laps, I'm fast, and I guess that helped me tonight to get to the lead. But saving the tire there, I was actually able to get it up to the top 10, even though I started 21st and I was all the way back there. I was able to get to the top 10 on the first run, and then the second run I got up to about 6th, close to the top 5, and then the third run I stayed out there, and then we got the caution at the end. So I was happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, we saw you in qualifying. You flipped your car.
Yeah, the second one.
Barrel roll.
Yeah, the second one I hit the wall and I was like, oh, I don't have another lap, so I didn't even try to brake and I flipped it. But yeah, that third lap that I ran, it didn't count obviously, but yeah, my relative said the 31:10, so it would have been the pole, but obviously it didn't count.
Indeed, it would have, but nonetheless, you drove all the way from 21st in the field to the win. This has to feel good for you considering you've got a truck championship you're chasing for. Take us through what that's going to be like for you.
Yeah, truck championship, and then Xfinity finished second last night in the Xfinity race, so that was good. The trucks, so they posted never mind. But yeah, the trucks I'm pretty confident in, and the tracks suit my driving style pretty well. So I'm really looking forward to Atlanta, first race of the chase.
Yeah, but Atlanta is next week for all 4 series. Chris, thank you for joining us in the booth, and congrats on your win. Any shout-outs you want to give out before you go?
Shout out to Northern Capital. This was my original throwback scheme, but I didn't end up running Darlington, so this is only my second Cup race in the area. But Northern Capital, Samson Motorsports, and that whole team over there.
All right, it looks like that'll do it. Thank you, Chris. Have a good night.
Thank you very much.
That was your race winner, Chris Seinfeiden, getting the win. And now let's bring up our second place finisher, Eric Weiland. Eric, this is Hunter, Harold, and Dylan in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, gentlemen, I got you. How we doing, Hunter?
Well, I'm trying to collect myself. I know you had 2 sets of tires, or 2 left side tires. We assume left,
Nope.
but you had 4.
So to just quell it right there, the pit stop where I jumped all the leaders and came out, but I was down pit road, was no tires. It was fuel only.
So Harold was duped. We were all duped. You had 4 sets of Goodyear Eagles on you, and along with the 45 Sciifine, you both worked yourselves up into the top 2 positions. Take us through what that was like on the final restart.
Chaos. Leading up to it was chaos. Tonight, that final run was just pure chaos. I mean, planning the run, because at that point it kind of played out like a super speedway race, right? You need to plan your run, get the run, and don't lift. And we managed to get that done. I planned the run, got all the way up there, and saw Holman and Seidenfaden up there already with the 2 guys that stayed out from Samson, and I was like, holy crap, they beat me up here. I'm gonna be in trouble. And ended up still being in trouble because we had to push Chris out to get through the traffic, and at that point it was over because it was just so difficult to pass tonight. But once we made that run, I tried everything I could. I ran it high, wide, and handsome a couple times. I was making it work through 1 and 2 a lot there on old tires. Just couldn't get it to work on new tires. The draft was too valuable, and that ended up costing us because we didn't have a shot to suck up and make the pass.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Eric, you almost had a chance to win coming off that last lap. I seen how you got the move for second, and a couple times I'm thinking, oh, he may have a chance to go for the win there. Walk us through those last couple laps. You seem to pull a desperation move there towards the end.
Yeah, Dylan, the risk was there from not taking the tires earlier. I was just kind of banking on, the intensity of late, potentially causing a caution. I mean, our teammate Scott was running the top 2 down there before that yellow, and so I was in the back of my mind kind of maybe expecting something to happen just to cause chaos, cause a late race restart. Figured we'd bolt on a set of 4. We're already locked in the playoffs with 2 wins. Maybe we could make something happen there, and almost got that extra set of playoff points getting into the postseason there, but just ended up coming up 1 short.
Yeah, you said it. The last restart was chaos, and I asked Dylan and Harold, well, boys, where are we going to see these next 5 laps? And Harold just said everything. I believe we did see everything, except for a flip. But other than that, great job on saving those sets of Goodyear Eagles. Any shout-outs you want to give out before you go?
Yeah, absolutely. I can't thank my VRA teammates enough. Everybody at Virtual Racing Alliance, Alan Elwood for the boss man, and in helping us stay organized throughout this all. Brad, Danny, DeLont, Scott, Davey, even Shane, who wasn't here today. He only runs the Xfinity, but all those guys that helped us out, race in and race out through the regular season, they helped push not only myself but all of us to be better, and we kind of proved that out here tonight. So I was pretty happy with that. I can't thank Elwood Designs enough for the awesome paint schemes we see. SimSpeedShop for their support of the Cup Series. They're what helps us put on the show for you guys, and of course all the masterminds at Area iRacing, Jacob Bell, and his knowledge as an admin and running the show. Of course, you guys here at Want to Go Studios for the broadcasts to get us the exposure we need. Northern Capital Lodgebox Swift Lifestyles for being a part of the series. Project Racing Development also on the car. I can't forget about AJ as well. Just too many people to thank. It's absolutely awesome, and we got this Ford Mustang almost tuned up, but I feel like we got a good momentum looking toward the playoffs here.
And we will definitely keep an eye on you during the playoffs. Eric, have a good night.
Hunter, Dylan, Harold, thank you guys. You guys all have a good one.
All right, you
Thank
too.
you.
Your second place finisher, Eric Weiland. Now let's go ahead and bring in our third place finisher, Tyler Hallman. Tyler, this is Hunter, Harold, and Dylan in the booth. Got a copy?
Yeah, 10-4. Nice to finally talk with you guys.
I was going to say, this is your first top 5 of the year, first podium. Take us through what that was like with the caution coming out, because you and DeBoer were 16th and 17th, I believe, when that yellow came out. And Harold thought that you had no sets of tires left. It looked like you had another set lying around there for that final restart.
Yeah, 10-4. So it ended up working out perfect for me. Not really how you want it to work out perfect. When that first caution that I was involved with, they ended up calling it on me there. We just got to race and we caught a slow car. We got 3 wide and there was a little contact between me and Bryce, which I feel bad about. I've raced with Bryce for a long time now, so I hate to see that happen, and I was really bummed about it. But really didn't get that much damage, but figured since I was already going to get the penalty and go to the back, why not dive in, save the tires, fix the damage, and then hope for another yellow to get back in the race. And that's exactly what happened.
Honestly, Tyler, you were having a really good car towards the end, and that strategy towards the final pit stop really came into play there. Walk us through that final strategy that really helped you out towards the very end to get that podium finishing in third there.
Yeah, so that whole run there, I knew I was going to be taking the sacrifice with with Wineland and Chris. I believe that he stayed out as well, and just kind of cycled out where we kind of leveled out where we were running, like you said, like 16th, 15th, 17th. I think Chris might have been a little closer to the top 12 or something like that at the moment, but we all kind of had a big picture, just hoping that a late yellow would come out and we'd have that chance. And when it came out, naturally we're like, bingo, it's time to take them. And it was hectic on the start, being so much faster, especially on those first 2 laps. So it was really important with choosing what lane you were going to make the passes in, because you knew you were going to pass. And I didn't want to run over my teammates either, because they were currently up there leading most of the race. So they had a hell of a race. Kind of sucks that it worked out the way it did for them, but I needed this tonight. Being the last points driver, I was hoping just to get a nice solid top 10, and to be able to get this lucky with that late restart. I'm going to take it all day, and here we go into the playoffs.
Absolutely, and according to my math, at least, still waiting on points to be tallied, but you finished third. DeBoer finished 11th, and according to my math, that would put you into the playoffs. And
The points
we
have been
mentioned this-
updated,
Oh, they have been updated.
but I'm
Okay,
just kind of
that's
trying to see if there's any penalties assessed. But without penalties being assessed, Christian DeBoer was not able to make up the distance, and Tyler Hallman is the last driver in on points.
Yep, Tyler Hallman in the playoffs, and as we mentioned just before, this is your first top 5, first podium of the year. Take us through what that's going to be like, riding off that momentum heading into the playoffs.
Well, it's going to be huge. We had a couple really rough runs early in the season, and that kind of mired me back in the points. And I've been steadily just kind of getting good runs as they come here. Really was going for the win there at Talladega. I don't know if you remember, and I got tangled up with a bad bump from my teammate, which really hurt me there, because that was the last thing I needed with being in the points. I mean, I thought I was possibly going for the win there, and that killed it. And then going to the road course, which is just not my specialty, especially in this car. I knew I was not going to do that great there. I think I got a top 15. So this race was crucial for me. Really, like I said, like throughout the race, the tires would wear about even with my guys that were up front. We were talking tire percentages, and I was about even, and that told me that I wasn't driving, too hard or anything. I think they were running the bottom a little more, and I was really kind of working that high line and getting a nice run off, which would pay off actually later in the run when everyone's tires were already hurt. But at the end there, it didn't really matter where you went, especially on that first lap. You were pretty much wide out at night with these new tires, so it was just pick the right lane, and we're able to cycle right through there. I caught up to David. And being a teammate currently in the lead, like I wasn't going to force three towards the apron and cause a wreck there, so I just kind of like backed off a second and dove to the outside, followed the other two guys around, and that was the most run I could generate to get back up to Eric. So, congrats to Eric and Chris, obviously for the win. Chris, my teammate, that was cool to see come in and pull the strategy and get the win. So, congrats to him. And like I said, looking forward to next week. Building momentum. Some good tracks for me in the playoffs. So, going to see what we can do.
Yeah, 3 of the next 5 going to be at tracks similar to the one that we were at, Charlotte, and then one of the bigger ones at Michigan. Congrats on the 3rd place finish, Tyler. Any shout outs you want to give out before you go?
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely. I got to shout out Russ Anderson and Northern Capital for sponsoring the team, sponsoring me for several seasons in a row now. I'm very appreciative of what they do for me. I got to thank Scotty D Race Development for coming on, and they help out me with my drift program that I have in real life. Shout out to everyone at Club Loose. Can't wait to start up the season. SimSpeedShop coming on for the series. Northern Capital sponsoring the truck series itself. Lodgebox, Swift Lifestyles coming on, and Matco Tools. Everyone that's making this happen. So I want to thank everyone, and you guys, of course, up in the booth for taking the time. Thank you, guys.
All right,
No
well, thank
problem.
you,
Thank you
Tyler,
there.
and congrats on your top 5. Looking forward to seeing what could be a Cinderella run in the playoffs. Have a good night.
Thanks, man.
All right, that was Tyler Hallman in the 52, your 3rd place finisher. We'll get our finishing results here for you right now. I was going to say in just a moment, but Harold brought them up immediately. Thank you, Harold. So, your America's Auto Auction regular season finale. It was a wild one at the very end with Chris Seidenfeiden, Eric Weiland, and Tyler Hallman using their last set of tires to get up to the front. They take the first 3 positions. And then Delonte Ballard moving into 4th. A very impressive run there from Delonte. And David Weishart rounding out your top 5.
Garrett Grant and David Hendricks, man, they had really good cars all together. Stuck around into the top 10. Scott McGlennon, my pick, he ends up coming away in 8th place. A good effort altogether. Just a little short on the win, but I guarantee you, when it comes to playoff mode, I guarantee he's going to want to show the rest of the others why he deserved to get in there. Joshua Kanata and Ed Robertson complete the top 10. Not too much really on the days for them, but overall, I think they'll be happy with the top 10 run.
One driver wishing he had a top 10 or even a top 5 run was Christian Nabor. He comes home 11th after running towards the back for the majority of the race, but still a decent finish, but he will not make the playoffs. He's the first driver on the outside looking in. Jacob Bell coming home 12th in a remarkable run in the finish there, considering his setup. Jordan Martin coming home 13th, Danny Ware 14th, and Garrett Heath 15th.
Then you got Blair Patterson that finished in 16th. He was the last car to finish on the lead lap. And then you got Brad Slaughter, 2 laps down and all. Nate Tretto, Cameron Hurd, and Bryce Sensak completing the top 20, completing that whole poor luck altogether. And then Zachary Taylor, Brian Wasserman, fortunately early retirees out of the race in 21st and 22nd, respectively.
We'll have to keep an eye on what could fall from the Nate Trito and Cameron Hearn tempers flaring on the racetracks. We'll take a look at our Elbow Designs race recap. Chris Seidenfeiden steals the win. He led 10 laps, but leading the most laps was the 3 of David Weissar. We had 2 late yellows for 8 laps. 22 drivers were in the race, and Davey Hendricks had the fastest lap with a 30.156. So follow our social media at Area iRacing on Twitter, where we will update you on what could fall from the Cameron Hearn and Nate Trito incident, as our admins are currently discussing. Gary Wells, Jacob Bell, and Eric Weiland. They're all in there discussing what could happen.
Unofficially, Davey Hendricks is our regular season champ by 3 points over Weishart and 8 points over Eric Wineland. And then Garrett Grant is 30 points back. Then Danny Weir, Garrett Heath, Blair Patterson, Ed Robertson, Jacob Bell, 9th. 10th was Delonte Ballard. Tyler Hallman is 11th. and Cameron Hearn will be the last spot, but then it'll be all reset with wins and points and everything all set up. So you keep, like you said, keep an eye. If you go on to our website, you can go to the Sim Racer Hub standings, and they'll be reset to where the top 12 drivers will be in the 2000s with their points set up for the round of 12 for the next 2 races.
Yep, and you can look at the point standings for those in all 4 series, starting with the Araya Swift Lifestyle Pro Series, which their playoffs will start along with the other 3 series starting next Monday. Well, it'll be this Monday. They'll go to Atlanta. All 4 series will, and you can catch all 4 races at 8:40 Eastern on the Araya Twitch channel. And make sure to stay followed on Twitter at Area iRacing on Twitter for updates, and AreaIRacing.com. And that's going to do it. Well, actually, you know what? No, I don't want to leave too soon yet. Guys, any final thoughts from tonight's race?
Just a fun race overall, and I'll tell you, a lot of strategy that went unbind in the end. The tires that really came unbind in the end, that's what got the 45 to victory. And great work for all the guys that had fun in there. And I hope I had fun in the booth as much as you guys did there. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was a really awesome finish to watch at the end. There was some contact there in turn 1 where some of the pack was separated, but not sure what happened there. Harold, any final thoughts?
It was definitely a barn-burning week. We've had every single division showed us something different at the end to change up the playoff picture. So for the inaugural season, the regular season is over. Now we move on to the round of 12, 4 divisions, 4 totally different playoff pitchers, 4 totally different chars going to Hotlanta. It is a 1.5, but it's special 1.5. It's not like Charlotte. I mean, I think when I think of the 1.5 cookie cutters, I think of Charlotte. I think of Chicagoland, Vegas. Those are the ones that the D shapes. But Atlanta, a little different. It's a different feel, Atlanta. And of course, with a new layout, it's completely different. Texas, the old Texas used to be part of the 1.5 group too, until they messed it up too.
Along with Kentucky, but we're getting off track. I believe we are running the old layout because I don't think the new layout
has not been scanned yet. No, it has not been. It will be before we get to Atlanta in the actual NASCAR. iRacing has done a stupendous job since the COVID pandemic started of getting the tracks laser measured and recreated before the race in NASCAR gets there. So they redo the billboards, they redo a lot of the stuff, add colors. They just added, just for the 24-hour guys, they just added a sausage bumper out of the bus stop on the inside of the final turn out of the bus stop on the backstretch, because NASCAR actually, or not NASCAR, but the Rolex 24 group put that there. So they just put that on there to mess us all up because we're not used to it being there. Causes me to go to Airborne. But, we digress. But, yeah, NASCAR will have Atlanta fixed, but it won't be for this one. But that'll be something interesting to see. And I'm hearing grumblings of a possibility we might see the Coliseum in iRacing.
Very well. Yeah, that could come out just before the actual race that will take place just a week before the Super Bowl. But it looks like that'll do it from us up here in the booth. From Dylan Young to executive producer Harold Darner, I'm Hunter Sleppy saying so long, and we'll see you in the playoffs.
What an exciting race brought to you by Wendigo Studios. Here they come out of turn 4 to the white flag, and it's 1 to go. Thank you to all our sponsors, drivers, and viewers. We'll see you at the next turn.